Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing Deep Rock Galactic. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Zarel. Let's get to it. Alright, so today we're doing the Deep Dive, codename Infernal Dump. But before we get to that, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. So let's get into it. First stage of the deep dive has rich atmosphere, Swarmageddon, collecting 4 alien eggs and 1 dreadnought, and that seems like an awful lot, and it is. So you're going to go through the level looking for the alien eggs, which are on the train scanner, and the dreadnought, which is also on the train scanner. The alien eggs are in that like purpley pink goo on the sides of the wall. Just kind of look for the glowing part and dig in that general area. Egg will pop out. Now, one thing I do have to say is that there was an inordinate amount of exploders on the level as well. So it was almost like Explodergeddon as well as Swarmageddon, or Exploder Invasion. So I would probably say don't spend too much time on the level, at least any more than you have to, because there's a lot of enemies that are going to be coming after you. Lots of swarmers, those little guys that are just going to be all over the place. And then, of course, like I said, exploders for some reason. Now, the Dreadnought is the boss creature of Deep Rock Galactic. They have phases. They have, damage phase and vulnerability phase, shielding a lot of times. So you have to kind of be aware of where the boss is at in terms of health, which is easy enough because it's right on your screen, but also what else is going on. In terms of the Arbalest and Lacerator, you want to damage both of them more or less evenly. Otherwise, they'll both go invulnerable and then share health. So all of the damage that you did to the one, all of a sudden, it'll come back. But once you get one down, then you can take the other one out, no problem. You don't have to worry about the healing factor anymore. So once you have the alien eggs and the dreadnought, you're ready to go. So hit that button, call in the drop pod, and get out. Now, it is important to note that you're going to want to get all the gold and nitra that you can on these levels during the deep dive. Gold will line your pockets at the end of the deep dive. It'll give you more credits once you're done. Nitra, on the other hand, is going to be of immediate use because with more nitra means you can call in more resupply pods, and the resupply pods, of course, keep you flush with ammo and grenades and traversal tools and health. So all that stuff is very important. So make sure that you are grabbing the nitra and the gold whenever possible. Now, also, it is probably one of the more difficult regions to grab all of the materials that are available because of the way that these levels are set out in the fungus bog. So what happens is you have lots of like nooks and crannies where, depending on the direction and placement of where you're looking, you might be able to or might not be able to see the materials. Now, if this is your first time on the deep dive, you want to kind of keep track of where your driller is, unless you're the driller, and hopefully you've got a nice breadth of different professions, job classes. You have a driller, you have a scout, and an engineer, and a gunner. all do different things during the deep dive, and having each of them will help out in different situations. On the way out, I would say keep an eye on either the mule and follow the mule out, or see what your driller is doing and make your way to wherever the driller is and follow the driller, since the driller has the capability of quickly making a tunnel, a straight path from wherever you're at to wherever the drop pad is. In most instances, there are times where it is, the drop pod's kind of hanging in the air partially, so make it a little bit more difficult, where a zip line might come in handy there. All right, and that's it for the first stage of the deep dive. Whew. Wipe the sweat off your brow and get ready for the next stage. As you know, deep dive is a 3-stage raid-like environment where you can play either solo with your buddy Bosco or with up to 3 other players, whether that is friends or match-made friends. Now, the second stage of the deep dive has you taking out 2 dreadnoughts and recovering 1 black box. So once again, the dreadnoughts are those boss creatures that you have different phases where you can damage or just basically stay away from them. And then once you take those guys out, hopefully before they take you out, then you can move on. The black box is not on the train scanner, so you'll have to keep your eyes open for that. It's a zone control. You repair it, it comes up. The more people that are in that bubble, the faster it goes. If nobody's in the bubble, you start losing progression. If it goes all the way down to 0, you lose. So as long as one person stays in there, that is the only thing that you have to worry about. And of course, the more people that are in there, the faster it'll go up. So if you have 4 people within the bubble, it's going to go up. The percentage is going to go up the fastest. Alright, so the dreadnoughts, of course, are on the train scanner, and you can see approximately how to get to them. And I think this is probably a good time to point out that everything carries over from one stage to the next. So your gold, your nitra, whatever you have in your pocket that you haven't deposited either on the side of the drop pod or in the mule, that will carry over. Your health will carry over. Whatever ammo, traversal tools, and grenades you have, that will all carry over from one stage to the next. So keep that in mind when you're going and calling in resupply pods. Obviously, call them in when you need to. But if you're getting lean on nitra, maybe think about whether you need it or whether you do not need it, and you can save it until the beginning of the next stage. And of course, don't leave any resupplies sitting, because those are just going to disappear. So someone should grab the resupply. Whoever needs it, I would say, would be the one to get it. All right, make your way back to the drop pod. Again, you can follow the mule, and then as soon as the mule shows up at the drop pod, you can hop in, or you can make your own way to the drop pod. And of course, doing that, you'll have to kind of defend the area until the mule docks, because the doors are locked and will not open until the mule docks with the drop pod. They don't want you hot wiring the drop pod and making it out, but not all the stuff that you've been doing in the meantime. So do remember that there is friendly fire on Deep Rock Galactic. In most instances, it is relatively easy to avoid other players if you're in a narrow window if you're in a tunnel or something that you don't have a lot of room. You know, maybe have two people shooting one way, two people shooting another, so you're not cross-firing and taking your buddies out. Now, additionally, it is important to communicate with your buddies, and we'll get to that in just a second. The third stage of the deep dive is another sweat fest, I would say. You've got 4 alien eggs and 2 mini mules and rival presence, which means you're going to see turrets, shredders, patrol bots, maybe even a nemesis. The mini mules, you scan them, and then you can see the legs that have fallen off on the train scanner. Go dig them out, pick them up, put them back on the mule. Once all the legs are back on, then you can repair it. Now, unlike the salvage missions, you only have to repair the mini mules. You don't have to do anything else in regards to that. Once again, the alien eggs are on the terrain scanner, so you'll be able to see what direction they're at and go towards them. Go ahead and get those alien eggs and then call in the drop pod. Now, I would say you have a 50% chance of getting a swarm with each alien egg that you dislodge from the walls. So be aware of that and brace for the swarms when they show up. It will be difficult, especially if you still have that rival presence or turrets sitting around where they're going to take pot shots at you. Now, as I was saying, it's important to communicate. Now, you don't necessarily have to use a microphone to communicate, although that is the most direct way of doing it. You can use your laser pointer and just, let people know where you're going, what you're doing, and hopefully they're doing the same thing with you. And that's it. Good luck with your deep dive this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
Make every bullet count. Stone forever.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 4 minutes. The mule is secured. Initiating launch sequence. Deep Rock Galactic thanks you for your good work. Drop pod will leave with or without you.
Rock and stone, brother. You leaf-bumbling son of a mud-golden. Ready to blow. Same team.
That's one for the books. Retrieving escape pod.
Let's rock and stone. That's it, lad. Rock and stone.